Hello everybody, this is D with Nearfall Gaming. We are back with our Smackdown vs. Raw 2008 24/7 GM Mode series. We are Smackdown. We're just going to get going. We're going to give a quick recap of what our last week's April 5th episode of Smackdown, how that went. First match, tag team match, Marcus Corvan, Elijah Burke defeated Gregory Helms and Kenny Dykstra in just an exhibition tag team match. Kane defeated MVP in the #1 contendership World Heavyweight Championship tournament. Chavo actually defeated Johnny Nitro in the kayfabe. Excuse me. Had to go back and it got screwed up there, but Chavo actually took home the dub in that match in kayfabe. Rey Mysterio defeated Snitsky. Snitsky was King Booker's hand-picked opponent to kind of scout Rey Mysterio out because they will be facing one another in the World Heavyweight Championship #1 contendership tournament. Whew, that's a mouthful, but we're going to keep going. Bobby Lashley defeated Mr. Kennedy in a steel cage match as a part of the #1 contendership tournament. The reason that it is a steel cage match is you can go back to our last week's episode. Last week in the game, I just released it a few days ago actually. But I would recommend just going back, referencing that episode, instead of going over the background for the match for the third time. Basically, Kennedy's mouth got himself into some hot water, to put it shortly. But that was last week. This is this week, April 12th. We're going to get going. We've got our match card already set up. It is ready to go. We just need to lock it in. And first match is going to be Chris Masters versus Elijah Burke. He's going to have Marcus Corvan with him, down accompanying him because they are boys. Match number 2 is going to be Johnny Nitro and MVP taking on Kenny Dykstra and Gregory Helms. Just trying to expand on that tag team division a little bit. Advertising promo. Rey Mysterio versus King Booker in that #1 contendership tournament. Mr. Kennedy versus Bobby Lashley in a rematch. Mr. Kennedy actually called for this, opened up the show in the ring, cutting a promo, and he was basically saying that he was done wrong last week by being forced to be in a steel cage match. He didn't agree to be in a steel cage match. He didn't want to be in a steel cage match. He was the only one outside of Lashley forced to be in a steel cage match in the tournament, so he is just calling foul on the management of Smackdown. So therefore, Bobby Lashley, he ain't afraid of Mr. Kennedy. He's like, alright bitch, I will put up the tournament spot and I'll give you a rematch. No steel cage, straight up rules. And that is why we are in this match tonight. And then in our main event, we've got Edge taking on Marcus Corvan in basically an open challenge to the World Heavyweight Champion. Not for the championship, but just whoever wants a crack at the man on top. Marcus Corvan, go ahead. And he takes that challenge. So we're just going to get right into it. We're going to go ahead and lock this in, and we're going to get going. We're going to start off with our first match, Chris Masters versus Elijah Burke. And we're going to simulate. Chris Masters took home that dub, as he should. That was our expected outcome. This was a part of the contendership tournament, so Elijah Burke is eliminated. And next we've got MVP and Johnny Nitro taking on Kenny Dykstra and Gregory Helms in another tag team exhibition match. We're going to simulate this one. Not ready to take on the tag team AI yet and have to deal with that. Unfortunately, we're having some pretty good luck with simulating and getting the optimal outcomes because Johnny Nitro and MVP will win it in kayfabe. So they take home that dub there. Rey Mysterio and King Booker set to face off one-on-one as a part of this #1 contendership tournament. And we're just going to go ahead and play it. And we're going to play as our boy Rey Mysterio.
The following contest is scheduled for one fall. From San Diego, California, weighing 165 pounds.
And if I'm not mistaken, Rey Mysterio, we watched him compete last week, but we did not see his entrance because I accidentally skipped it. So we're going to let it play out this week, and then we'll let King Booker do part of his entrance. I don't know if I'm prepared to sit through the whole thing, if he's just going to majestically strut down the aisle.
From Houston, Texas, weighing in at 256 pounds, King Booker.
So basically, going into this match, King Booker, he'd be feeling confident, but not as confident as he could be if Snitsky got the job done last week. But he feels like he knows Rey Mysterio's little moves and his little quirks, and that he's going to be able to handle him fairly easily without much issue. Just kind of some of the vibe coming into the match, built it up a little bit last week. Rey Mysterio's not as fresh as King Booker, who was able to just kind of sit back and watch, but
that reversal might stop his opponent's momentum dead.
We'll see how it goes. We'll see who picks up the W.
Look at that. That's going to go over big with the fans and build some momentum at the same time.
You got to watch out for your opponent when they're getting fired up like this.
And here comes the worst submission system probably in any game that I've played.
So have I. It's certainly been one of the most anticipated matchups in recent weeks.
Man, this crowd is
Bulldog, right on your ass. Let's go.
There's no doubt that these fans love him, and he's feeding off that energy right now. Here it is. He's building up a head of steam, and he's about to let his opponent have it.
And if his opponent is smart, he'll get the hell out of there.
Okay.
Watching these superstars go at it reminds me why I prefer to stay on this side of the announce table.
You know, if you let me train you, you could be cruiserweight champ inside a year.
Oh no, I've heard stories about the way you train people.
Oh,
You
I
make
love that
Marine
little
drill instructors look like pushovers.
These controls will definitely be something to get
He's got
used
this
to.
crowd solidly
Okay,
behind him,
here we
and now he's
go.
going to give them
I've
exactly
done like
what they
4
want to
moves and
see.
two of them have been the same Bulldog. Try not to have such a repetitive moveset. Oh my goodness. Oh, I didn't even mean to run on that one.
Nothing wrong with keeping the paying customers happy.
I swear I don't just cheese the same 3 moves. At least intentionally. At least intentionally. Oh my gosh.
The crowd is coming alive. This is what they came
Hit him
to
with that
see.
little airplane spin.
Try to
Off
strain
that
yourself
fireman's
a little
carry.
bit, okay? You're supposed to be calling this down the middle.
I'm gonna get myself dizzy. I remember this move because like it disorients me like almost as much as it disorients
Not
them.
where you want to be when you're fighting this guy.
And like they'll be able to strike you before you're able to strike them again.
This has been a great match so far, but I think it's pretty obvious.
Who's gonna win? Ooh, King Booker. Oh, I did not change the difficulty. Oops. I will do that after this Smackdown for sure. But it's kind of dumb that the gameplay difficulty does not correlate to the general
Here's your
mode,
winner.
the 24/7 mode difficulty. At least I don't think it does, because if that's hard difficulty, then we'll just go straight up to legendary that fast. Thought it would take a little bit longer, but maybe I was just really bad at this game when I was younger. Alright, on to the next match. A rematch from last week without the cage. Mr. Kennedy versus Bobby Lashley. We're going to play this match. And we are going to play as Mr. Kennedy. Will we be picking up the W, or will we be taking the L? I don't know, I can't really speak that well today. But we're going to see how well we can play the game. So far we're doing alright with Ray. 2-0 with Ray. 2-0 with Ray. But these gentlemen faced off last week, and Mr. Kennedy actually let me escape the cage. I didn't even have to pin him, which that was a little anticlimactic, but the game doesn't know that. It gave it 3 stars, but if it was watching, it probably would have garnered like maybe 3/4 of a star. I could see that. Here comes Bobby. Bobby the boy.
From Colorado Springs, Colorado, weighing in at 275 pounds, Bobby.
The pyro is super loud compared to the other sounds. Like, I have their entrance theme turned down a little bit just to hopefully stay on YouTube's good side as far as copyright goes. But yeah, I mean it's super loud. Kind of just like bruh. Because I don't have the best equipment that I'm working with right now. It'll get better. We talked a lot about improvement on that last episode, but that's not the point. The point is, I'm trying to get the right sound settings figured out, and the pyro just kind of is a pain in the ass because it's way louder than everything else. But
What a reversal.
Even if you wind up winning a match like this, you're going to be feeling it for the next week.
Yes, but that's the case if you lose as well. And having to deal with
these boys were our main event last week, but not this week. We got the World Heavyweight Champion on the card, taking on Marcus Corvan.
We've seen this before.
Oh, what a cowardly grapple move.
He saw that one coming.
I've been looking forward to this match. Come on, quit showing off. This is a wrestling match, not a popularity contest.
Big old superback suplex. Alright. Alright. Mr. Kennedy's moveset is actually, like, not bad.
He's got this crowd solidly behind him. And now he's going to give them exactly what they want to see.
Actually, I do remember that move being really useful for getting guys groggy.
These fans have got something they want to share with us.
That's their right. They paid for their tickets
And
after all.
obviously, in kayfabe, this match wouldn't be one-sided like this so far. Mr. Kennedy wouldn't just come out the gate beating Bobby Lashley's ass. It'd probably be the other way around, actually. Bobby Lashley would be looking pretty dominant, like he was just about to repeat last week. Obviously, Mr. Kennedy at some point would, get his offense in. Mr. Kennedy ain't no slouch. Mr. Kennedy is not jobbing out to Bobby Lashley by any means. Mr. Kennedy is going to be a prominent player here on Smackdown, just like he was when he first came to Smackdown.
think we're about to see a high-risk move from the top rope?
All right, there we go.
He's building up ahead of steam, and he's about to let his opponent have it. And if
But,
his opponent is
anyway.
smart, he'll get the hell out of there.
I guess the ring wasn't big enough for these superstars.
Sure
Taking it
is.
outside.
You gotta love this kind of fight.
I wonder what
Watch
his.
it. He reversed it.
Yeah, he doesn't even have us a front standing out of the ring finisher.
Look at that. That's going to go
Yeah.
over big with the fans and build some momentum at the same time.
You gotta watch out for your opponent when they're getting fired up like this. Mr. Kennedy's my kind of superstar.
So basically, yep, I literally just did that on intentionally. It would not be that fast, and it wouldn't be that that clunky. They would fight outside for a little bit, and then Mr. Kennedy would realize that that was basically the only way that he's going to take down Lashley right now. But what he does is he picks up the W via countout towards Lashley, so he never pins Lashley, never makes Lashley submit. He kind of just gets the bitch way out, and Lashley would actually be livid and pissed off and not, lying on the ground because Lashley was giving Mr. Kennedy the business the whole time. So really, that's how that match would go in kayfabe. Obviously, to give the visual of Kennedy winning by countout, I didn't want to chance it too much on the outside by trying to perform something crazy and screw around and get us both counted out for like a draw or something. So that's how that match goes. Mr. Kennedy beats Bobby Lashley in the rematch, and what that means, since Bobby Lashley agreed to put his tournament spot on the line, is that as of now, Mr. Kennedy is advancing in the World Heavyweight Championship #1 contendership tournament, and Bobby Lashley is not. So on to the next match, and as you can see here, it is not the graphic that we had earlier. It is Edge versus Marcus Corvan in the kayfabe, one-on-one. But in this game, what happens is basically Marcus Corvan and Edge definitely put on a little bit of a banger, but ultimately MVP and Johnny Nitro come out and they interfere. They just kind of get Marcus Corvan's attention. They distract the ref a little bit. Edge hits Corvan with the belt, goes for the pin. Corvan looks strong. He kicks out of the belt. But then he ultimately gets up and takes a spear. Edge gets the pin and the victory. And then Johnny Nitro and MVP, kind of go up the ramp pointing at Marcus Corvan. Elijah Burke is not able to come out to the ring because his neck got messed up in in Chris Masters' Master Lock when he took that L earlier in the night. So that's why Marcus Corvan is by himself. Also because this fucking game, it's a handicap match in game, so I could not give Corvan any help. And here comes our World Heavyweight Champion, even if you can't see it. Smackdown vs. Raw or THQ or whatever, they felt the need that champions don't actually wear their belts unless they're defending the championship, which is stupid, but it is what it is, I suppose. Can't really do much about that one. And then we got Edge, and that Metalingus will probably get me hit with a copyright. Oh gosh. But that is a battle to fight on another day. And here comes MVP. We have seen his entrance before, so we probably won't let it play out too long, but it is worth mentioning how impressive the production crew is and being able to get that little tent out that fast. So good on them.
From Los Angeles, California, weighing in at 219 pounds, Johnny.
And here comes Johnny Nitro. It's probably just a month or so away from being John Morrison in this game. That would have been interesting, but that is not the case. If Joey Mercury was in this game, we would definitely have Joey Mercury, and they would probably just be our outright tag team champions for sure. Instead, Johnny Nitro is teaming up with MVP because they both are just cocky bastards and have really big egos, and that's their, their bridging factor. And obviously, they wouldn't have entrances like this because they would run out mid-match. But if you're watching a game or a video about SmackDown vs. Raw 2008 in 2023 or later, then obviously you know about just the technological limitations of this game. So I don't need to try to save face by telling you why they're coming out in an entrance. I just got to try to not get my ass beat by Marcus Corvan. But in the match, Marcus Corvan, he is going to give Edge a run for his money. He's going to have a good showing. Ultimately, Edge is the World Heavyweight Champion. He's on another level. Marcus Corvan has never had any championship gold in his career, so it's just kind of like a rookie tries to make a good impression by taking on a vet and gives him a good fight, basically. And that is how this match is going to go.
Oh no, I've heard stories about the way you train people.
We're going to try to keep MVP and Nitro out of the ring entirely, if possible. It shouldn't be that hard because I think what the fuck?
Well,
so, Edge's...
Okay.
Man, you just can't put anything over on these fans.
You sure can. They see everything, and they'll let you know about it. Edge.
That isn't going to make you popular, but you got to do whatever it takes to win.
I just think it's unfortunate whenever a superstar decides to cheat to win.
Oof, Corvan, okay. I see you, big dog. Oh, he's about to go talk that shit. See, in the kayfabe, this is Corvan getting distracted by Johnny Nitro and MVP. There we go. Thank you, guys. Look at that. Playing their role and shutting their mouths. Knowing their role, excuse me.
What a counter that was.
A leg
I've been looking forward to this match all night. Look at this.
Oh, we going for the superplex. Oh no, super DDT from the top. Oh, that is brutal. Oh, I probably should have gone for a finish or something. I still haven't looked up what these sword fighting styles do. I remember the brawler and I think the powerhouse, but I don't. Well, I think we actually saw Kane activate the powerhouse. Oh, there we go. That's his. That's his spear. We'll give him a pin in kayfabe. 1, 2, and then what? Edge doesn't believe it. He's like, "You are full of shit right now."
Every time I see Johnny Nitro, I'm blown away, and he's still just a kid. He's got his whole career ahead of him.
Hit him with a spear so I can hit him with a spear. Come on. I'm over by the head. Groggy head. There we go. This is about to be the end of it. So this is after Corvan kicks out of taking the shot to the head by the world title belt. Then Edge hits him with a legitimate spear. And then Nick Patrick counts for the 1, 2, 3. I always want to call that. I see Gary Kubiak when I see that character model. Does anybody else? Please leave a comment if that referee character model looks like a Gary Kubiak in a SmackDown vs. Raw game. Those who will know will know. But anyway, Edge gets the victory that way. Johnny Nitro and MVP are right there outside of, right there at ringside, and then they get their little heel asses up the ring, and Corvan is looking at him, and Elijah Burke is in the back, getting looked at by the medical staff. So that's how Smackdown goes off the air. In this one, the World Heavyweight Champion coming out on top in his first match. Alright, so that's it for the show. We can't look at it. So quick recap. Chris Masters advances in the tournament. MVP Nitro defeat Kenny Dykstra and Gregory Helms. And then they also send a message to Marcus Corvan and Elijah Burke, also in the tag team division. Rey Mysterio defeats King Booker and advances in the tournament. Mr. Kennedy defeats Lashley by countout and ultimately takes his spot back into the contendership tournament. And that'll be a spicy number for next week, let me tell you. Marcus Corvan loses to Edge in a one-on-one match in kayfabe. Alright, let's go ahead and go over to Monday. I think when I did it last week, I don't remember, but I feel like I checked like the Power 25 and everything before the week even ended. So I don't know if I was even looking at the right spot. ECW with another 90,000. Sheesh. Let's see. 3.5 stars. Okay. Who do they even have? They got DX, I think, right? Raw with 3.5. 2.5. That's bullshit. Okay. And then Power 15. We'll take a look at 25 real quick. Edge, Rey Mysterio, and Mr. Kennedy are in the top 10. Bobby Lashley out of the top 10 because of a chicken shit loss. My goodness. Alright, over to SmackDown. Edge, Rey Mysterio, Mr. Kennedy, Bobby Lashley, Kane, King Booker. Kane's over at 7, I'm sorry. King Booker is 5. Kane is 7. Johnny Nitro. Chris Masters. If Chris Masters is going to win the contendership tournament, he's got to get in the top 5 so I can set it for a championship match, brother. Elijah and Marcus. I got 15 guys in there. That still hurts to say to this day. Nobody in the free agency. Anyway, back to Power 25. Just take a quick look at that. As you can see, we got some contenders for the United States Championship. That is not forgotten about. Don't worry about it. It's going to come. We got 12 months for this series, and the first month does not mean United States Champion. John Cena, still the Tag Team Champion, Umaga WWE. JTG beat Undertaker for the Intercontinental Championship. Make it make sense, man. Make it make sense. ECW's got DX, Randy Orton, Ric Flair. Okay, let's see what that 2%. Defeat other show's champion. Okay, that was on Power 25. Do I have the lowest ranked champion on the Power 25? Wow. Higher than Umaga. Higher than Umaga, but not higher than their tag team champion. We'll see about that. We'll see about that. Alright, let's get into it. We do have to raise this popularity. Let's take a look at the roster as a whole really quick. Edge 85, Rey 83, Lashley 77, Booker 76, going down. Kennedy 75, Burke 74, Kane 70, Corvan 70, Nitro 69, Daniel 62, Masters, MVP, and Snitsky all at 61. Snitsky 60. Okay, that's a tongue twister right there. Say that 3 times fast. Snitsky, Snitsky, 60, Snitsky, 60, Snitsky, fuck it. Anyway, okay. You know, the trophy date, honestly, it works. I like the trophy date. So we're gonna keep going. We're gonna send Kane on the trophy date. Now, it's not a big success, but it was a success. I'm just gonna show some love right now. Marcus Corvan does an interview, but we're about to hit Wednesday, which everybody knows what that means. Kenny Dykstra Podcast Day. Yes, sir. Big success. That's what I'm talking about. I think that's 2 weeks in a row with a big success for a Kenny Dykstra Wednesday podcast. So I'm thinking probably Lashley, maybe Kennedy. Or just go on the lower end, do like a Gregory Helms or a Chavo. I'm gonna go Lashley. Let's just okay. 10% fatigue. I gotta keep an eye on Lashley's fatigue because I know it's not anywhere near being high right now, but he did have a steel cage match not too long ago. Marcus Corvan, his fatigue went up by being a manager in one match and then taking a handicap match in another, apparently. That's interesting. Okay, so after... Did we already... Yep, we finished this week's shenanigans. So after this week's shenanigans... Mysterio, Lashley's up to 82. I like that. Kane is at 75. That is good. Dykstra up to 62. He's getting there. Gregory Helms is the lowest at 59. Roddy Piper, Rick Rude. Here we go. The plan's all coming together, boys. As you could figure out, I have added some legends into the game. I didn't have any plans to do anything with either of these two guys, so I'm going to add them into the game so I could sign them so I can trade them. I'm not necessarily looking to use these with established popularity, but I am looking to take advantage of their higher popularity to maybe squeeze a couple different guys out of each show for them. Mark Henry and Finley. So Rick Rude's a 75 and Roddy Piper's a 79. Honestly, it would be nice to use Rick Rude because he qualifies for my cruiserweight division, and the cruiserweight division, it just needs more bodies, you know? Like I just feel like there's not enough guys in there. So anyway, let's do some trades. Wow, roster really sucks, actually. But I want William Regal. I'm gonna get William Regal for sure. Best believe that. Let's do Roddy Piper, so I could get. I'm gonna send them an offer I know they're not gonna accept, because I'm pretty sure I can send trades as many times as I want in a week. Okay, yeah, I declined it for Batista. However, you're gonna give it to me for Jeff Hardy. Yeah. I hope Jeff Hardy's not a champion. Let's go! Alright. We just went from a 15-man roster to a 17-man roster. That is the importance of those legends. And because of that 17-man roster, we're going to turn that 17 into hopefully 19. And that is some sweet, sweet shuffling around. I like that. Henry and Corvan. That's okay. I almost did something that I didn't want you to see. But thank goodness for editing, right? Okay, 75. So Carlito, I swear he was just a 70 when I sent that last request. Give me 7. Okay. I want 7. Low key, I want 7 for the Cruiserweight division. Don't tell me it can't be done. Don't tell me it can't be done. Don't tell me it can't be done. Let's go. We're building the tag team division through real general manager mode stuff, okay? Let's go. That's got me hyped. Alright. Excellent. Now we have a 19-man roster. We could actually do something with it. We got to fix some popularities, but I mean, we had to work with Gregory Helms anyway. Still got the roster up. I don't have to worry about contracts for a while, but when I do, I have to worry about it a lot. So, probably, welcome, William Regal. Welcome to the show, brother. I'm going to give you all of my money. So that way I don't have to sign you again. Because this is the cheapest you're ever going to be. Look at that, 59 weeks. Let's go. Alright. So this changes a lot, but we already got week 2 booked, so these changes that you see aren't going to have a whole lot of effect on the plans. Okay, let's go. This is good. Current champion, boom, boom, boom. Alrighty, so without much more delay, let's go ahead and just get into setting up this next match card. And so our first match we're going to open it up with Kenny Dykstra and Gregory Helms once again in tag team exhibition action. So yeah, Gregory Helms and Kenny Dykstra are going to be taking on, drumroll, the newly signed tag team of Matt and Jeff Hardy. Wow, what? That changes so much for my tag team division, and honestly, I almost want to just give them the championships right now, but I'm not going to do that. Just award them to them. Screw it. So, again, just like the last few weeks, Kenny Dykstra, Gregory Helms trying to, right the ship. They've taken 2 L's in a row. Matt and Jeff Hardy, obviously one of the greatest tag teams of all time, so that's not going to be an easy task to get right against those two. But Kenny Dykstra, Gregory Helms, they're still cocky. They're confident. Gregory Helms is a face, and Kenny Dykstra is more of a heel. But they are coexisting. Gregory Helms is trying to kind of mentor and help Kenny Dykstra. Kenny Dykstra is taking kind of like a pupil role, if you will. And then in our second match, we got Chavo Guerrero, just an exhibition action against William Regal. So I know I literally just said that our new signings will not have a big impact on this week's SmackDown. However, it just kind of made sense to fill them in here. So that's what we're going to do. And then in our next match, we've got a one-on-one match, but it's going to be Johnny Nitro and MVP kind of having to own up to their shit that they did last week. Elijah Burke, he wasn't injured, he was just hurt, but he's back, so he's going to accompany Marcus Corvan into a one-on-one matchup with Johnny Nitro. Up next, we've got another tag team match, and this is going to have two. Basically, this match is going to need some backstory because it's going to be two guys that faced off last week. Two guys that are unhappy with what happened last week, but on two different ends. And so, obviously, Bobby Lashley, Mr. Kennedy, Rey Mysterio, King Booker, all four of these guys faced one another last week. In one-on-one matches, Rey Mysterio and King Booker, Bobby Lashley and Mr. Kennedy. Lashley put up his tournament spot against Mr. Kennedy because he was confident that he would take Mr. Kennedy's ass to school in that rematch. Mr. Kennedy actually won by countout, which technically grants him Bobby Lashley's spot in the tournament. It's not a championship, so it's not that the championship rule where it can't change hands on a countout or anything like that applies. So Mr. Kennedy is now moving on and is slated to actually face off against Rey Mysterio in the semifinals of the #1 contendership tournament. King Booker lost to Rey Mysterio last week. So, tensions are just high. Booker wants to redeem himself. He wants to get his hands on Rey. Bobby Lashley wants to tear Mr. Kennedy apart. So this one was made up by the GM. And he's like, we got four guys that want to beat the shit out of each other. So we're gonna let that happen. We're gonna team them up and let it happen. Then in our main event, we've got the next match in the #1 contendership tournament, and that is Kane and Chris Masters. And so just so everything is clear, we're going to go ahead and throw up the graphic right now. And so you can clearly see Kane, Chris Masters. The winner of this match will go on to face the winner of Mr. Kennedy and Rey Mysterio. And that is going to be the final. So basically 2 matches away from a shot at Edge and his World Heavyweight Championship at Judgment Day. So, Kane, Chris Masters, that's our main event tonight. And you know what? We're actually going to have Kane, Edge. Oh, look at that. That's what's up. Edge is going to come out and just basically sit at ringside on commentary and just kind of watch the match because it's an important match, and we got to get him involved in the show even if he doesn't have a match. Heel champion, he's not trying to just go out and put an open challenge out. He doesn't have an entourage or a posse to kind of fight for him at this time. He's kind of just flying solo. He's not fucking the GM or anything like that. So he's kind of just got to stay under the radar and be the heel champion that he is, and we'll just see how it unfolds and how the story goes. Next, we'll do our promos. We will get our advertising because we literally almost gave all of our money to our boy Willie Reeves, so he doesn't ever leave us, and he stays on the roster the whole time. And then I think we'll do, let's see who's inactive with Mark Henry and Snitsky. That's fine with me. We are going to do the dirty and clean turn, actually, with Mr. Corvan, because he was originally a heel, but just based on how the booking has gone and everything, actually, maybe we'll just keep him aligned with Elijah Burke for now. We just got the wheels are turning now. We'll just stick with the money because we are pretty broke. But after this show, we should have over $500,000 again. But anyway, that should do it for this week's episode. We're going to leave it off before we actually get into SmackDown. So if you've made it this far, thank you for sticking around. We'll go ahead and pull up the roster like we do when we send it out. And I'm not going to show you the rivalries yet. I'll show you the current champions. Mr. Edge, World Heavyweight Champion. Chavo Guerrero, Cruiserweight Champion. United States Champion. That's going to be crowned soon. And then as well as the Tag Team Champions, we've got something in the works for that as well. Big moves this week with the acquisitions of the Hardy Boys, Mark Henry and William Regal. So that is just going to be big for every facet of our show, whether it's the opening, whether it's the tag team division, the mid-card, or maybe even the main event scene. We're going to see how it goes, but that's got me feeling good about the way that this series is going to end up. So hopefully you are enjoying it. It's just going to keep getting better, so stick around. If you're still here, consider subscribing to the channel, giving the video a like. It's much appreciated. Any feedback, leave it down below, and we'll get back to you soon with another episode. Thank you.